Hello and greetings. This is Corey from the Bach Scholar YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me today. This is a very useful video, I think, for you, for all piano teachers and students. And this is what I call my favorite 10 Preludes and Fugues by J.S. Bach as a teacher. Okay, so I have to qualify that as a teacher. So I'm not picking my 10 favorite Preludes and Fugues as just sort of to listen to, you know, to put on a recording of a famous artist and listen to them. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of teaching and playing. So many of these that I chose here are not the most difficult technically of Bach's Preludes and Fugues, and for a reason, because I think it's best to focus on the not so difficult ones first, and then to tackle the more difficult ones. So this is sort of just an all-encompassing list of 10 Preludes and 10 Fugues that I selected from both books, books 1 and book 2, that I believe are the most beneficial, the most useful, and hence my favorite, I guess my favorite of the Bach 10 Preludes and Fugues. But before we go on, I want to mention that right now, as I speak, for the next 2 weeks, there's a sale going on the Bach Scholar website. It's very exciting. We launched a new website, a brand new website, and this website is really fantastic. It's the best website we've ever had at Bach Scholar, and up through February 3rd, 2025, we are offering 30% off all digital sheet music, and also piano and beginning violin lessons for first timers. So if you're interested in that, 30% off on say, you know, like your first month. And also, to celebrate my 54th year as a pianist, I actually began piano lessons 54 years ago. The airplane is flying by. And to commemorate, or to celebrate, sounds like I'm no longer living. To celebrate my 54th year as a pianist, get this, 54% off everything in the Corey Hall bin on the Bach Scholar site. Now, this includes virtually all, or 95% of my original compositions and arrangements, with all of my best performances on there. So you can listen to my performances, and if you like my composition or arrangement, you can download it and for 54% off until February 3rd. You never get a sale like that. And I have a lot of very exciting piano concert arrangements and original compositions that I think you as a pianist and you as a piano teacher will absolutely love. So go over to BachScholar.com and enjoy our sale up through February 3rd. 30% off, well actually let me say 54% off everything in the Corey Hall bin and through February 3rd, and then 30% off everything else in the store. All right, so let's get to the topic at hand here, Bach's Preludes and Fugues. Now, I don't even know if I've made a YouTube video yet of this nature, but I think it's high time that I made one. I do love Bach's Preludes and Fugues, both books. They are, of course, great pieces. They're masterpieces. The Well-Tempered Clavier as a whole is a great masterpiece. But, you know, I don't think they're the greatest pieces. I don't think all of them are the greatest things for your average kind of piano student. I think they're very difficult, and especially book 2. Okay, if you know the Preludes and Fugues, book 1 is pretty doable. I mean, I performed all of book 1 in, I think it was 1994. I just finished my last degree in music, my doctoral degree, and I remember I gave a recital it was in this library place in Lawrence, Kansas, and I played all of Bach's Preludes and Fugues in book 1. I used the music. It wasn't memorized. I mean, I had them like 90% memorized anyway. But anyway, with the music or without the music, it's a big, huge achievement to play one of these books of the Well-Tempered Clavier. Book 1, I have here, look, it's my old ripped up Peter's edition copy here. I still use it. Book 1 is, it's probably, if you played from beginning to end, it's probably 90 minutes, something like that. Book 2, it's a whole different story. It's like twice as long. It's like ridiculous. So if you're planning on performing or working on all of Book 2, good luck. Good luck. It's very difficult. Book 1, I think, is doable. Book 2 is I don't know. I would never. I don't want to even attack. I don't even want to attempt Book 2. It's just too much. But out of these two books, are some really excellent preludes and fugues that I think you could benefit from. Now, I have these listed in no special order. What I did was I just went preludes, fugues, and I went through both books. Look, my book 2 has a coffee stain here. It's also really old, my old Peter's edition. So I went through both my books of Well-Tempered Clavier, and I know all these preludes and fugues very well. If I heard one that I know every note in these preludes and fugues. Not necessarily, I can't just play them right now, but I'm saying the sound. I know every single note in both the books of preludes and fugues. If I hear one wrong note in a recording, I know it's wrong. One wrong note. That's how well I know these. So let me give you my advice on what I believe to be I think the greatest, the most beneficial, my favorite preludes and fugues for piano students and teachers. The first one, and like I said, these are in no special order. The first one is, let's go to Book 1 here, B minor from Book 1. B minor. Let's look at B minor. That is the last one, number 24. So it is Prelude. Prelude number 24 from Book 1. That is one of the 10 preludes I would choose as some of the most, one of the best, most beneficial, most beautiful preludes. Beautiful, beautiful. So the B minor prelude from Book 1, it has a nice duet in the right hand and a walking bass in the left hand. Just a beautiful piece, and not too terribly difficult either in the large scheme of things. Number 2, E flat major from Book 1. So I do absolutely love the E flat major prelude from Book 1, and it is one of the ones that's forgotten about a lot of times. And it's just absolutely beautiful, and I think it's one of Bach's masterpieces, actually. Prelude number 7 from Book 1. Prelude number 7 in E flat major from on into this nice quarter note theme. I'm playing it slow. Very sort of Renaissance kind of style, slow moving counterpoint here in the second section. And then in the third section, just for time's sake, I won't play it, but he mixes the second theme with the first theme, and it is actually a double fugue. A double fugue. I don't know. Maybe it's even a triple fugue. I don't know. I forget. It's either a double or triple fugue, and it is fantastic. Here's what I would suggest for Prelude in E flat major from Book 1. First of all, the Prelude is actually a fugue. So this is one of the only instances, or I think the only instance, where a prelude is actually a fugue. The fugue is also a fugue, but the prelude is more of a fugue than the fugue is. I get that. So the prelude is actually a fugue. That's a weird thing. So it's one of my favorite preludes, but it's actually a fugue. And what I would suggest for performing the E flat major prelude is one straight tempo all the way through. Most performers get it totally wrong. They choose 3 different tempos. They choose one up till measure 10. They choose one from measure 10 to 25. And then they choose another totally different tempo from 25 to the end. That is totally wrong. It's totally wrong. Play it all in the same quarter note speed. This means you have to really slow down the section in measure 10. I love this. This is probably my top 3. I would rate this in the top 3 of all the pieces, preludes or fugues, in both Well-Tempered Clavier books. E flat major, book 1. Absolute masterpiece. The third one here, well, you can't leave out C major from book 1 either. The famous. Very famous, very beautiful first prelude. Don't overlook that. We take it for granted, but I think it is a masterpiece. I think this is the first one I give all students if they want to play something from the Well-Tempered Clavier. The next one here, the fourth one, is E flat major from book 2. E flat major from book 2. Let's look at that one. Okay, so I have these sort of mixed up in both books. So in book 2, the E flat major prelude. So in book 2, the E flat major prelude number 7 goes something like this. It kind of reminds me of the rhythm as it's a very sort of Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring kind of rhythm kind of piece. E flat major book 2, it's a really happy piece. So if you're tired of the sort of the minor key Bach pieces, the sort of dreary minor key ones, if you want a really nice positive one in a bright key, E flat major book 2, it's great. Don't play it too fast, but I would suggest a sort of a moderate kind of allegro, like 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 2 3 1 2 3 2 2 3. It's in a nice 9/8 time. So that's what I would suggest for this prelude from book 2. I love this piece. It's so delightful to play, and it's not terribly difficult either. I love it. All right, so the next piece on the list here, 1 2 3 4 5. The 5th prelude on the list here is a prelude in B flat minor from book 1. This is prelude number 22, and it goes something like this. Beautiful. This is a top one for me too. I mentioned the E flat major prelude from book 1. This is one of those great ones. This is like in the top 3 or top 5 also for me. The B flat major prelude from book 1. Just beautiful, just gorgeous. And it really teaches you how to use the pedal, because you do need pedal in that. View my how to use pedal in Bach video if you haven't already. So it's just gorgeous. I love that prelude, the B flat minor prelude. And then, the next prelude here I have on the list is the A minor prelude from Book 2. A minor from Book 2. Okay, so I have prelude number 20 in A minor from Book 2 of the Well-Tempered Clavier. This is also on my list, on my short list of the 10 best preludes for piano students, or my favorites that I like to turn to time and time again. I love this piece. It's very mathematical, but that's why I love it. So what Bach does here in this prelude in A minor from Book 2, he has this really nice sort of descending chromatic line in the left hand like that, and then he has this nice sort of kind of spooky sounding sort of descending line with chromaticism in it too. It's just a delightful little piece, and it's very systematic or very mathematical, because what Bach does is in the second half, instead of the left hand doing this and the right hand doing this, he flips it around. The left hand does the inversion of what the right hand did. So it goes up, and then the right hand does the inversion of what the left hand did. Does that. So in the second half, it's so let me play the beginning. Okay, so the first two measures. Now the first two measures of the second half. It's so ingenious, so ingenious. Just it really is. I think playing this kind of prelude, and this is a very unique kind of prelude that is very, like I said, I'll say it again, it's very mathematical, very systematic, but this is not the greatest music for a candlelight dinner with your significant other necessarily, but this is intellectual music. This really activates your brain. So I really think that these are very valuable to practice just for your brain activity, because because the way that Bach switches the lines, it's like an exercise for your brain. That's one of the reasons why I love this so much, the prelude in A minor from Book 2. Okay, now let's go to the next one on the list here, the sixth one down on the list. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh one down on the list, C sharp minor prelude from Book 1. Prelude number 4. Prelude number 4 from Book 1. Beautiful, beautiful piece. So it sounds like something like this. It's a very lyrical piece. Very lyrical piece. It's written in 6/4 time. 6/4 time is a really rare key signature, time signature for Bach. 6/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has the rhythm, something along the line of a Siciliana or a Siciliano. So it has that sort of slow Siciliano type rhythm, which is technically sort of like half the speed of a jig. So if you take a typical kind of French jig, da 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 dun dun da dun dun da dun da, and you just slow it down. Da 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 da. And you want to feel that large beat like that. Don't play it too slow. Most pianists play this too slow, this prelude. Most pianists play it like this. Oh, they put so much grief and pain into it and they slow it way, way, way down. Don't listen to those. Just play it normal, okay? Just a normal andante. Don't go overboard with trying to make it overly romantic and too slow. That's one of my big pet peeves in Bach playing. So stay away from the extreme slows in this prelude here. C sharp minor from book 1. E major, book 1. Something totally different. Prelude in E major from book 1. This is one of the lesser difficult works, preludes or fugues from both books. E major, it's a very bright, nice bright key. It's very much in the style or of sort of like a 3-part invention, that sort of style. So there's 3 clear lines going on for most of this prelude, and it sounds something like this. Very, very beautiful. It's nice. 1, 2, 3. It's in 12/8 time. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice cantabile, slow andante style piece. So once again, not too slow on this one, but you want to stay away from fast tempos also. And you want, this particular prelude requires a lot of finger dexterity and finger independence. So you're going to have to do a lot of connecting with the fingers. I would suggest some pedal here too. So don't avoid all pedal in this prelude. I think pedal can really help here. I love this prelude. It's one of the first ones I usually give students out of all of the well-tempered clavier. Another one, A flat major, book 1. I can't miss that one. A flat major prelude. This is one, it's number 17 from book 1 here, A flat major. This is one that's sort of forgotten about. It's not played that often. It's always been one of my favorites, really. And it's only 2 pages long. It's not terribly difficult technically. I think it's really great for piano students to play. It goes something like this. I haven't played this in a while. It's so fun to play. I love this piece. It's just so delightful. A flat major, nice bright key, 2 pages long. It's a nice little bright kind of little allegro piece in 3/4 time. Allegro, not too fast. I wouldn't do something like that. More something like this. Just a nice sort of, not too fast, happy kind of allegro, like that. I love the A flat major prelude, and as you will see, this fugue will be on the fugue list too. So the last one, number 10 for preludes, C sharp major, book 2. So I have Prelude number 3 in C sharp major from book 2. Actually, in the Peters edition here, it's in D flat major. And I thank them for doing that, because D flat major I think is much easier to read than C sharp major. So see if you can get it in D flat major. And the fugue also in this edition is notated in with flats, not sharps. So I'm looking at it as D flat major, but if you have another edition, it might be C sharp major with 7 sharps. So anyway, I just love this piece. I love this little piece. It reminds me sort of the Prelude from book 1, and it goes something like this. Sounds like it could be played on a clavichord, a very kind of a intimate setting in a small setting. So it's very intimate kind of music that it requires delicacy in the fingers, and nice sort of gentle staccatos for the 8th notes here. You can use a little pedal here and there, but not too much pedal in this prelude. But one of the things I love about this prelude so much is if it just stopped like that, it probably wouldn't be one of my favorites. But what does Bach do? He goes on into a sort of a little fugal section. So after about a page and a half or so of this little kind of slow prelude, in a long time either, but it's in 3/8 time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So he goes into a 3/8 allegro. It's a delightful little allegro. It's not too terribly difficult either, and because it's in D flat major or C sharp, whatever, it's actually not too difficult to play because you have a lot of black keys in it. I love this prelude. It's one of the lesser known or lesser appreciated, I think, of Bach's preludes and fugues. But I just love this prelude. I think it's great. I think it's great to learn how to go from sort of just a standard 4/4 sort of andante speed into a 3/8 allegro.